Hi guys, it is April from Getting Huggo With It. Today I'm here to chat with you all about amazing audiobooks that I've listened to recently enough that I've loved. So I wanted to share them with you. Let's get into it. Audiobooks are something that I have used to get more reading in for years now. Like years and years. As soon as I discovered that you could download them and not have to go and get those CDs, I've been kind of hooked ever since. And usually it will help me finish like 1 or 2 more books a month. So it's really upped my reading game. And I listen to audiobooks when I'm doing chores, when I'm driving, when I'm getting ready for the day. Like I use them a ton. And Studio Sweden sent over some wireless headphones for me, which has been super helpful when Nora is, napping or something like that and I don't want to disturb her. I will pop these in and listen to an audiobook. So just wanted to mention that if you would like some wireless headphones from Studio, they have all sorts of different colors, which I really like. I got them in pink. You can use the word Hugga and you'll get 15% off if you feel like it. So that will be in the description box below. But yeah, I wanted to share with you some amazing audiobooks that I've listened to recently. I did a whole other video about some of my favorite audiobooks before, but that was like mid 2018 that I did that. So this is like mid 2018 until now, what I've listened to that I've loved. So let's just dive right in. First one is I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings by Maya Angelou. This is beautiful. This is basically Maya Angelou's autobiography. This is very well known. It's like a classic, American classic. And she had a difficult life. She was attacked when she was very young, and she stopped speaking because she thought that her words were causing pain and actually causing death. So she stopped speaking, and I guess in that time, between the time that she stopped speaking and the time that she started speaking again, I mean, she would have been in her head, and she became like such a gorgeous writer and gorgeous speaker. And this book is narrated by Maya Angelou, which is a real treat because of her voice. Her voice is so iconic, and I just really enjoyed listening to this. Now that she's passed away, we're really not gonna hear that again, and so I'm so glad that we have that. I also wanted to suggest Transcription by Kate Atkinson. This is about a woman in World War II who wants to get involved in the war effort. Now, she is recruited to become a spy, and unfortunately, at first it starts out as something that she didn't really sign up for. She's like typing a lot, and she's like, this is not what I wanted. But slowly but surely, she gets really into that world, and there's humor in this. The main character, you don't really know what to make of her. You don't love her, you don't hate her, but I was addicted to her story, and I just needed to know what was going to happen next to Juliet. And I don't know what it was about the audiobook of this, but I really enjoyed listening to it. It's a British narrator, and I don't know, I loved it. So I would definitely recommend listening to this on audio. Another amazing autobiography that's great on audio is Becoming by Michelle Obama. I mean, I love the Obamas, and I really enjoyed Michelle's story. This is such a hopeful story. I really enjoyed listening to her talk about her childhood, and she really opens up a lot. She talks about the infertility that she dealt with. Both of her girls were conceived through IVF, and Nora was conceived through IVF. So I was like glued to that part of her story. I listened to this before I went through IVF. And I just really loved hearing her voice. She's just such a calming person, and she's fantastic on audio. So if you haven't read Becoming yet, try it out on audio because I think you would like it. I also wanted to mention Pet Sematary is fantastic on audio. It's narrated by Michael C. Hall, and he is so creepy in it. There's something about his narration that just adds to the creepiness of the story. Maybe it's his Dexter days, I don't know what, but this story is all about a family who moved to a small-ish town. The dad is going to be a doctor in the town, and unfortunately they move onto a street that's very, very busy, like with big, huge transport trucks, and a lot of pets end up dying on the road, unfortunately, because of the busyness of the road. And they discover, in particular the dad discovers, a pet cemetery where you can bury your pet and it will come back. Not quite the same, actually quite different than normal, but they're still present and alive again. It was so good. It was actually a much deeper horror book than I was expecting it to be. I thought it was going to be like blood and guts and gore, and it actually ended up being really about grief. And I really appreciated it. And Michael C. Hall did an amazing job. I so recommend that one. Next, I wanted to recommend Mr. Flood's Last Resort to you. This is by Jess Kidd. This is my first Jess Kidd, and it will not be my last because I really enjoyed this. This has an Irish narrator, and she was fantastic. So good. This is about a woman who is taking care of this elderly man who's like a hoarder, like a major hoarder. In Britain, this book is actually called The Hoarder. And she goes to take care of him. And there are rumors that there's quite a mystery surrounding the house and its occupant, that a young girl died, and she thinks that the owner of the house had something to do with it. And so she's trying to like find out what happened. And I really love that. I love narrators that are just everyday people who are trying to figure out a mystery. It's really, really great. It kind of gave me The Trouble with Goats and Sheep vibes because of that sleuth, like amateur sleuth aspect to it. And I just really loved listening to this on audio. I thought the narrator did such a bang up job, so I would really recommend this. Another book that I really think was so well executed on audio is Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Now, I didn't love Daisy Jones and the Six. Like, I much preferred The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. But this is like a full cast, and it is fantastic. It follows a band and Daisy Jones, who joins the band over time. And it's about their drama with one another, and it's basically told in a series of interviews. And so you really do have a whole cast of different narrators who do the voices for the different people in the band. And it's one of the best audiobooks I've read. That said, I still didn't love the book. I still only gave it 3 stars. It was fine, but it wasn't amazing. But if you are going to read Daisy Jones and the Six, I so highly recommend that you listen to it on audio. And last but not least is a book that I recently finished, and it's Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. I just finished rereading this, and I listened to this on audio, and yes, we've got 2 narrators, one who speaks for Nick and one who speaks for Amy, and basically we're following a married couple who unfortunately go through quite a lot. Amy goes missing, and everyone thinks Nick did it, and he is trying to convince the police and the media that he's not that guy. He didn't kill his wife. He didn't, he doesn't have her hidden away somewhere. And you flash back and forth between present tense Nick, and then you read from Amy's perspective in a diary. And Amy is just one of my favorite characters of all time. She's just fantastic. And I thought this was amazing on audio. The narrators made it so much more vivid and real and terrifying that I just loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. So if you are, well, first of all, if you haven't read Gone Girl yet, I mean, do it. I really recommend that you do. And listen to it on audio. It's fantastic. So those are all of the books that I wanted to share with you. All of the audiobooks that I think are really worth listening to instead of reading the pages, although that's fine too if that's what you fancy. But I hope that you guys are doing well. Let me know in the comments below what the best audiobook that you've listened to in the last year has been. I'd love to know if you can remember. It's a very specific question. I hope you're doing well, and I'll talk with you soon. Bye!